I said it before, but I actually mean it this time. Knicks basketball is actually back.
We're back, baby.
Yesterday, we saw our Knicks go up against the Charlotte Hornets in actual NBA basketball. And I'm gonna be real with you. I was wholeheartedly expecting to not see much of any of our starters. I didn't think we were going to see any of the starters, at least in this first game. Cat just getting on the team and, you know, this, that, and the third. I thought we weren't going to see much of the starting guys, but I was pleasantly surprised and we had some great moments. And not only that, a lot of the questions that a lot of people have as far as our bench and who's going to do this, who's going to do that, some of those were kind of answered in this first game. Deuce McBride did a great job on the offensive end as well as his typical defensive pressure. Jericho Sims looks like he wants to be a real fixture in the big man rotation. And you know what? I'm ready to say it. I think Kolek should be playing in the regular rotation come the regular season. But I don't want to get too ahead of myself. It's just one game of preseason.
Whoa, pump the brakes there, Sonic.
Well, we got a lot to go through. Let's get right into it. But first, run the intro. What's going on, CK Crew? It's your boy CK2K, and welcome back to another video. If you haven't already, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell. Don't forget to like this video. Don't forget to follow me over on Twitch and join the Discord. Both links are in the description below. But guys, the New York Knicks won a close one against the Charlotte Hornets in the first tune-up game of the preseason, I would say. I almost said off-season. It's the preseason. Like I said in the beginning, I wasn't really expecting to see much stars, but then at the same time, when I was watching the game, I'm like, duh. Tom Thibodeau is our head coach. Of course, we're going to see the starters. Tom Thibodeau most likely is going to play the starters a lot more than typical teams would play their starters, for the mere fact that two of the main guys in this starting five are brand new, and we need them to be, and we need the chemistry to click a lot sooner rather than later, especially when you're bringing in a big fixture like Karl-Anthony Towns and someone like Mikal Bridges, who has turned up his scoring the last few years. We got to make sure that we can get the chemistry all together with all five of those guys going forward. So I'm not entirely surprised after I saw the outcome. I just thought that Tibbs was gonna slow it down in the first game and then rev it up starting Wednesday. But before we get into the details and the statistics, you know we gotta give it up for our lovely people over at HelloFresh. You can't go wrong having a complete recipe and ingredients ready for you to go, so you can just get in your kitchen, spend about 20 minutes and have a nice fresh plate of food for you and your family right in front of you. Again, like I said, Pops in the building. So I understand how much it costs on groceries on a weekly basis. You make one thing, kids eat up all the food, and poof, you gotta get more food for a new week. HelloFresh helps you out with that, so your dinner's already taken care of. HelloFresh is a meal kit service that delivers step-by-step recipes and fresh pre-portioned ingredients right to your door. You'll choose from 30 plus delicious weekly recipes carefully put together by their chefs. There are options for carnivores, vegetarians, calorie counters, and much, much more. And HelloFresh is giving you guys 10 free meals along with breakfast for life. That's right. You guys use the link in the description below or this promo code right here, and you guys will have breakfast included with every single one of your boxes for life. But don't take my word for it. Go to HelloFresh.com right now by clicking that link in the description below, and you can get started right away, and make sure you do not lose that opportunity on free breakfast for life. HelloFresh, appreciate you guys. Now, Knicks versus Hornets. I'm gonna be real. It's tough to really get up or down about wins and losses in the preseason, because the preseason is really about what the team is looking like right now for me. I mean, it'd be nice to get wins each and every night in a preseason game, but for me, what's more important is what the outings look like from each individual player, or in the rotation, or the fives that we see on the court at the same time. And with that, we start with the starting five, because like I talked about in the beginning, we have two brand new Knicks players in the starting five all together. We know about Jalen Brunson, we know about Josh Hart, we know about OG Anunoby, but now you're also implementing Mikal Bridges and Karl-Anthony Towns. And you can see in the beginning, Jalen Brunson was doing what he could to get his guys going. I think if you're on Twitter or any kind of social media, the one play that you're seeing all over right now was the big bomb that was dropped by Karl-Anthony Towns from three, with no hesitation, with no worry, and with all the confidence that was going down. Now, Cat didn't shoot the greatest. He shot 2 for 7 from the field. 5 of those shots were threes. but he did go 5 or 6 from the free throw line, and the confidence was through the roof. He has to get the rust off, has to figure out himself with the team. It's not a big deal. Like I said, you want to see these guys get it together. Jalen Brunson put up a nice 12 points, as you would expect. I mean, we're not really looking for big numbers in the preseason when it comes to the starting guys. Mikal Bridges gave us a nice bucket. OG with 4. Like I said, the starters will get together. I'm more concerned about chemistry, them making the right plays together. We saw them in transition. They have to work on their transition defense. That will come as they play more together, which is entirely expected. But it was just nice to see Mikal Bridges is 25 on a Knicks jersey, and it was nice to see the blue and orange 32 with Towns on the back. It was real. It was real. Something that we were rumoring and I was making funny videos about in separate occasions for both Karl-Anthony Towns and Mikal Bridges years prior. And now here we are in 2024 and both of them are on the New York Knicks. So it still was nice to see. But what else is nice to see is Deuce McBride filling into that 6-man role perfectly. With the trade to Donte DiVincenzo, it was no question that Deuce McBride is going to be the one that's going to be getting the bulk of the shots in that second unit, and he made them count. He did shoot 18 shots as the 6th man on this team, but like I said, he made them count, making 8 of them and ending the game with 22 points. Shot 44 from the field, 44 from 3, and we still saw him do what he does on the defensive end. But like I said, I'm looking at the performance, and to me, the performance is exactly what you want to see from Deuce McBride. You want to see the confidence in his game. You want to see the next step from what he did last year, which was impressive in itself. You're seeing Deuce McBride go out there and play with that same kind of confidence, play with that same type of energy, as well as stepping it up from a scoring standpoint, because he's going to be the guy. He's the 6th man off the bench, and I thought he did a great job, at least in this first game against Charlotte. We already know that things are going to be different when we play more tougher teams, as well as when we play regular season games, but for right now in this tune-up, that's what you want to see. And before we talk about anybody else, I want to talk about Jericho Sims as well. Jericho Sims is somebody that I feel like the Knicks fan base is torn on. Some people really are excited about what he could be, and other people have already thrown him away to be a bust and to be not that good. And I think I'm right there in the middle, but more leaning towards the positive in Jericho Sims. Jericho Sims has a lot of upside. I feel like he's a really high athletic player. I think he's really coachable, is what we hear from all the coaching staff and the people he worked out with. And you know, he has some nights where when he's good, you're like, dang, Jericho has the ability to be pretty great. But the problem with him is also when he's bad, man, is he bad. But this night was not one of those nights. Jericho Sims had 10 rebounds and 5 of those were offensive. Why do I bring that up? Well, last year the Knicks were one of the top, if not the top team in offensive boards. A lot has to do with Isaiah Hartenstein. So now with iHeart out of there, we're gonna see if that is a stat that we're just going to drop tremendously in, or does a guy like Jericho Sims or Precious Achiuwa step in and help keep that stat the way that it is. And when you see that Jericho Sims had those 5 offensive boards, you get good belief that he could be a big impact kind of guy when it comes to rebounding on the offensive end. I mean, between him and Precious, they had 8 of the team's 10 offensive boards. Excuse me, 8 of the 12 offensive boards that the team had. And that's what you want to see. So, you know, the little things that you're expecting from Jericho, I'm not expecting Jericho to go out there and score about 10, 12 points a game. To see him in double-digit rebounds, to see him have 5 offensive boards, and to see him do such a good job in the interior defensively, that was really nice to see. Again, it is against the Charlotte Hornets, so grain of salt, preseason grain of salt, but it is a great step in the right direction for Jericho Sims, especially if he wants to be a part of this rotation. So I'm giving my hat and my flowers to Jericho Sims in that one. And then, yeah, you know, we saw Cam Payne, who is expected to be the #1 off the bench for Brunson. You know, like I said, I've been pretty open. I'm not a big Cam Payne guy. I know Cam Payne has hit some tough shots on some teams in the past. He does have that veteran aspect to him. But to be honest, when we saw Tyler Kolek get back in the game later on, that's the reason why I want to see him in the rotation. I know he's young. I know he's green. Don't want to rush the process. But you see, when players like Tyler Kolek are on a team like this, I know people lazily like to compare him to TJ McConnell, but to me, he gives me like a Steve Nash light kind of vibe. Tyler Kolek has this aspect about him where he makes everyone else around him play harder. He has that infectious ability where we saw in the summer league, and we saw him those few seconds. He has that ability to get everyone around him to play tough. And on top top of that, if he's making those kind of difficult shots with confidence, you can't help but love a player of that aspect to play in that second unit. And again, it's no rush. Campaign, you know, I'm sure is going to have some great moments for us. I think Campaign, if he does come off the bench and play, I'm sure that the veteran aspect there is something that Tom Thibodeau really likes. But you can't look at Tyler Kolek and not be excited about the prospect of what could be with him in the rotation. And also, it's just nice to know we got one of the feisty white dudes on our team for once. I feel like we play against them all the time, but now we got one, and this guy, he definitely brings the juice, and it gets everybody around him going. So I'm definitely team play Tyler Kolek. I know we are going for the veteran, and you know, we're trying to win now and contender and blah blah blah. I still think you can do that while having Kolek be a part of the rotation. But that's me. That's me. No hate. I know I ain't rushing the process. It's one game. We'll see what he looks like in the next one, but I'm just giving him his flowers as well. Speaking of flowers, also Landry Shamet. I don't know why I was overlooking Landry Shamet as if he has not been a dog wherever he's played at. Landry Shamet, whether it was the Clippers, whether it was Phoenix, I mean, we could talk about the other team, but more so with like Clippers and Phoenix, Landry Shamet was a dog. Everywhere he went, he was a high octane shooter, scorer at that, and we saw in this game where he can be effective on this second unit, because we're gonna need to find points when it comes to second unit. It can't just be Deuce McBride as much as we all want to see that. Landry Shamet is making a great case for himself to be a part of this rotation. We know it's going to be a short rotation, but Landry Shamet played himself into possibly getting one of those spots off the bench. And, you know, like I said, I don't want to sound surprised, because I shouldn't be. Like I mentioned, Landry Shamet across the league, wherever he's been, was a big impact guy. He's just one of those road warriors. But he gives me that kind of same vibe as Dante DiVincenzo, where it's like, I'm trying to show y'all that I want a home, a permanent home, and I can be this for you guys. And I think Landry Shamet is definitely somebody I'm keeping my eye on if he ends up breaking that rotation, which I still think he has to earn. But in that game yesterday, not only on the offensive end, we saw him make some feisty plays defensively, and I think Tom Thibodeau is paying attention to that as well. But that's about it. I mean, I think those are real standouts. Looking at Precious Achiuwa, played a lot of minutes. He was up and down. Starters were up and down, but at the end of the day, the Knicks ended up winning this preseason game. Again, win-loss, I'm not really tripping about that for a preseason game. But what says you? What were your big points? What were your big moments? What do you think about the starting five and Karl-Anthony Towns and whatnot? I would love to hear it. You know, I go through there and respond to the comments. What are your thoughts about the bench? Deuce McBride, you guys confident Deuce is going to be that great sixth man that we all expect him to be? Landry Shamet, you agree with me that Landry Shamet might play himself into the rotation? And Tyler Kolek, am I tripping? Do we need to get the rookie in the back of the bench and let him wait his turn? Or do y'all think that Kolek needs to be a part of this rotation regularly? What y'all say? Let me know your thoughts about everything in the comment section below. But if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell. Don't forget to like this video. Also, click the link in the description below to get 10 free meals as well as breakfast for life using HelloFresh. Don't sleep on those deals. Link is in the description. I'm out of here, y'all. It's your boy CK. Let's get it. Game 1 is in the books. I'll catch y'all on the next one, man. Let's go, Knicks. 1-0. Let's go undefeated in the preseason, right? I'm stupid. All right, I'm out, y'all. Peace.
I can't hold a frown too long.